Alright, hello and welcome on into another episode of the Undercard, folks. As always, I am your host, Jeff Patello, and today we're going to be talking about UFC Fight Night Wednesday. We've got Smith versus Teixeira. They are the main headliners. As always, we are going to start off by giving a ratings to this show. On initial outlook, there is probably only a handful of fights right off the bat that I'm curious in. I am curious, obviously, about the main card for sure, Teixeira versus Smith. I am also excited about Drew Dobber. I'm a big fan of Dobbs. He has got some hellacious power, so I'm excited to see his fight against Alexander Hernandez. As for some of the other exciting fights, Ricky Simon versus Ray Borg. Ray Borg is a very talented individual, and he's going to be going into a scrap with another talented individual by name of Ricky Simon. So there should be some fireworks in that match there too. I don't know much about this Carl Robertson and Marion Vitros, but that's the fight that will be opening up the main card. As we head on into the prelims, there is a couple of fights in here that I'm quite interested in about. I want to see Orlovsky versus Philip Linz. I think that'll be an interesting one. We're going to see exactly where this Philippe is and see how he handles a big name and a big man in Andrei Orlovsky. Michael Johnson's always been a entertaining fighter for me to watch, so I'm excited to watch him fight, or anytime that he's got a fight coming up. And the only other fight that I'm interested in is early on in the prelims. It's Hunter Azura versus, my mistake. It's Chase Sherman versus Ike Villanueva. Looks like it's going to be a battle of the heavyweights, and somebody's possibly going to sleep in this match. But anyways, let's get into this and start breaking down some fights for y'all. Okay, so to get this event kicked off and started, we have got a bout in the what it looks like to be is for the heavyweight division. We have Chase Sherman versus Ike Villanueva. I looked at both these gentlemen's records, and they have got some win streaks going on. Villanueva is currently riding a 4-fight win streak with 4 KOs. Sherman, on the other hand, is riding a 3-fight win streak with 3 KOs. So from initial outlook, it looks like that these boys are going to come out banging, and somebody's going to look to knock the other man out. I really don't know much about these two fighters. I know that Chase fought in the Island fights, and as for Villanueva fought for Fury FC, and I believe he was a champion over at Fury FC. So I'm going to give the slight advantage to Villanueva just because he's been a champion in another organization. So yeah, safe money. I'm going to go with Villanueva for the win. Other things to note about this, Sherman will be the taller of the two fighters, and he will have a 5-inch reach advantage. So could present a little bit of a problem, but I think Villanueva has got enough experience that he can handle the taller man. But needless to say, I think this is going to be an entertaining fight and a great way to start off the card. Okay, so for our second fight of the night, we've got two fighters. One I'm not too familiar with, but he does have an impressive record at 8-0. His name is Hunter Azar, and he will be fighting off against Brian Kelleher. The last time I believe I saw Kelleher was in the Donald Cerrone McGregor fight, and I believe he got a submission win. I forget who the opponent was, but I do remember that he has got some very impressive jiu-jitsu skills. He's got a hell of a squeeze. If he does get his arms locked in, he will choke choke you out. So he's not an opponent to be taken lightly. He has gotten back into the win column recently. Kelleher's last 5 fights, he is 3-2, currently enjoying a 1-fight win streak. Before that, he had 2 back-to-back losses, KO and submission. That being said, we're gonna head on over to Hunter. His last 5 fights obviously are 5 wins, 1 TKO and 4 unanimous decisions. So Hunter is not known to be a finisher from initial outlooks. In fact, he's only got 3 stoppages via TKO and 1 submission. So out of his 8 professional MMA fights, he does got 4 stoppages. That being said, if he is going to be looking for a submission, he's going to be in for a tough night against Brian Kelleher. I believe Hunter will be looking to keep this on the feet, and he'll be looking to knock out Kelleher. I'm going to go with the experience of Kelleher in this match here. I think Kelleher submits Azar. That's going to be my prediction for this fight. So the third fight in the prelims, we've got Gabriel Benitez versus Omar Moraes. Gabriel Benitez is sporting a record of 21-8. He is coming off a loss in his last fight to Sadiq Youssef. He ended up getting KO'd in the first round. So he's definitely going to be looking to get on the bounce back here. His record in the last 5 fights is 3-2. So he's a bit on the winning column in his last 5. However, like I said, he did come off of a loss to Sadiq. So most people who come up against Youssef are in for a beatdown. His opponent, Omar Moraes, is sporting a perfect record of 9-0. He looks to be a submission expert. He has got 5 submission wins, 2 TKOs. And in his last 5 fights, he's actually got a decision, 2 TKOs, a submission, and so he's got 2 KOs, 2 unanimous decisions, and 1 submission via the rear naked choke. One thing of note that stands out to me is there is a height difference between these 2 fighters. Moraes is coming in at 5'11", where Benitez is standing at a meager 5'8". However, that height advantage does not translate over to a reach advantage. Gabriel has got some long arms. He's got a reach of 71 inches compared to Omar's 73 inches. So I wouldn't be looking for most of these guys to do much boxing. Looking at their stats, they are going to be looking to take this to the ground. Both men, in fact, have a takedown accuracy of 100%. Vegas odds have got this going to Omar Moraes, and I tend to agree with them. I think Omar is going to take this to the ground and submit Gabriel quite easily. This is obviously a step up in competition for Moraes. Just by looking at the records, right? You know, Moraes is just very young in his professional career. He doesn't even have 10 fights. This will be his 10th fight. Gabriel, on the other hand, this is already his 29th. This will be his 30th fight. And, you know, he's about 500 above losses, right? So he's a half decent fighter himself too. So this will be a good step up in competition for Moraes. So for our next fight in the prelims, we are going to the women's bantamweight division, and we've got a scheduled fight between Sarah Eubanks versus Canada's own Sarah Morris. This looks like a pretty even match from initial outlook. Both of them are kind of supporting very similar records. Eubanks has got a 5-4 record. She currently has 2 KOs to her name there. As for Sarah, she is sitting at 6-6. She has got 3 KOs and 2 submission victories, so she can finish fights. Sarah Eubanks in her last 5, she is 3-2. Currently, she is riding a 2-fight losing streak versus unanimous decision. In fact, all 5 of her last fights have gone the distance. As for Sarah, she has got... she is unfortunately in her last 5 is not sporting a very good record. She is currently only sitting at 2-3. However, she is coming off of a win in her last victory over Julia. Let me see. I believe Liana Hoyo. I don't know how to say this name. I am so sorry. I butcher names all the time. Jeff Patello, the butcherer of names. So, let's go into the stats here and see if there's something that is glaring out between the two of them. Upon initial outlook here, Sarah is going to have a 3-inch height advantage over Eubanks. As for reach, both of these women have got the exact same reach, 67 inches, so there's not much in the difference there. As for striking, Sarah's got the better strike percentage. And for takedown accuracy, it is going to go to Eubanks. So this is going to be a interesting scrap here. I'm going to probably have to, well, living in Canada, it's hard to pick against the Canadians. So you know where my money's going to fall on this one. I'm going to pick Sarah Morris for the win. Just because, well, go Canada. And I think she has got the better of the 2 records between the 2 ladies, even though she's sitting at 500 currently. Okay, so fight number 5, we have got Michael Johnson versus Thiago Moraes in Okay, so in our 4th scrap of the So for our 5th fight of the night in the prelims, we have got a bout in the lightweight division. This one features Michael Johnson versus Thiago Moraes. There is not much in the stats-wise to, say there is a glaring discrepancy. Both these men come into this fight pretty much at the same height. There's going to only be a 1-inch advantage for Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson is also going to enjoy a 3.5-inch reach advantage. So there's that for Johnson. These men both like to strike. So we'll see where it goes. I mean, Johnson is definitely known to be more of a wrestler. So hopefully he will, put together a smart game plan and look to take Thiago to the ground. But Thiago can't be taken lightly because he is a pretty solid practitioner of jiu-jitsu himself. In fact, he has got 5 submission wins, so it's gonna be no easy feat to try and submit him. I'm thinking Michael Johnson is going to look to do some ground and pound, but at the same time too, he probably will not want to go to the ground with this individual because Johnson, for whatever reason, is susceptible to submissions. He has lost 8 times via the submission. So he'll be looking to probably keep this one on his feet and look for the knockout win. That being said, I think my money is going to be on Thiago for the dub on this one. Thiago for the safe win. In fact, let's see what Vegas odds makers have on this fight. Actually, Vegas odds makers got this fight very, very close. 110 minus 120. I mean, both these guys are in the minus. So I believe this makes Thiago the favorite by like 10. Oof. That's some tight margins right there. As for both these gentlemen's record in their last couple of fights, Johnson is not supporting a good one. Unfortunately, he is only 2-3. He has got 2 back-to-back losses, unfortunately. That's not good. As for Thiago is got, well, his record's a little bit better. He's on the winning side of things. However, he is coming off of a loss himself. He has got a record of 3-2, and like I said, coming off of a loss. So both these men are going to be looking to bounce back into that win column. But like I said, I'm going to put my money on Thiago for the dub. Okay, so for our main event in the prelims, we have got the legend Andre Orlovsky facing off against Philip Linz. Philip Linz, there is not much known. They don't even got a picture for him on the website currently. But from what I've seen, he is a KO specialist with some submission skills. Philip has got a record of 14-3, 8 KOs and 4 submissions. In his last 5 fights, he is currently 4-1 with a 4-fight win streak going on. In his last victory, he won a championship in the PFL league, right? So this is a up-and-comer that has got some promising talent, and you know, there are no easy fights in the UFC, and they're throwing him in there with a killer in Andre Orlovsky. Orlovsky, unfortunately, is coming off of a KO loss versus a Rosenstruck. Rosenstruck just recently got demolished by Francis Ngannou, but up until then, Rosenstruck has just been running a fucking demolition derby on the fucking heavyweight division, just knocking everyone out. But this is going to be a very entertaining fight and a good test for Philip. If we go to the stats and look at the individuals, height-wise, Orlovsky is going to be enjoying a 1-inch reach advantage. As for the reach, Philip has got the 1-inch reach advantage there. Other than that, I mean, Orlovsky has got some takedown skills. There's not much for Philip as in stats, so we can't really talk about anything about that. But the Vegas odds makers have this for Philip. And, you know, like I says, coming off of a championship win in his last fight. He went 4 rounds, so he's definitely got the ability to go the distance, right? So in a 3-round fight, I don't think he's going to get gassed out. He's got, like I said, a little bit of championship experience. But my money is definitely going to go on Linz here. He's just on a roll, you know, 4-fight win streak, and yeah, that's going to be my determining factor for that one. And now we're going to get into the main card. Okay, so to get this main card kicked off, we have got a fight in the middleweight division. This one is going to be featuring Carl Robertson versus Marvin Vettori. I apologize, I'm bad with names. Both these guys have got a half-decent record. Robertson is currently sitting with a 9-2 record. As for Marvin, he is sitting at a 14-4-1 record. If we're going to go to the tail of the tape, there is a 1-inch height advantage discrepancy for Robertson. As for reach advantage, both these gentlemen are of the exact same reach advantage, and both these guys have a somewhat decent takedown accuracy. Robertson carrying the advantage in that, sitting at a 57% versus Marvin's 45%. If we look into these fighters' last couple of victories, Carl is sitting at 3-2. He is currently riding a 2-fight win streak, a submission win in his last fight. As for Marvin, he currently is sitting on a record of 3-1-1. I guess he had a draw in his fight against Aktibdov. Sorry, just another name that I butchered. And his last 2 victories are coming off of unanimous decisions. He's got one over Ferreira and Sanchez as well. Both these gentlemen are jiu-jitsu practitioners. It's probably safe to say that this is going to be one of the slower fights of the night, but we are going to get some high-level jiu-jitsu competition. So if you are a fan of jiu-jitsu skills, this is the match for you. And like I said, nobody is the physically bigger of the two, so this should be a pretty much who has got the better setup skills. That being said, though, Vegas odds makers have this one going to Marvin. He is the heavily favored in this matchup. I don't know if I agree with that, but it could be just because of the level of competition of who he's got a couple victories over, because he's got some victories over Sanchez, who's got a half decent record himself at 12-5. And he's got another one over Ferreira, right? And Cesar Ferreira had a record of 14-8, so a half decent record himself too. And he was another Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy. So look for this one to be a slow, grindy fight. Most likely, this is going to go to the decision as well. I'm a little bit heartbroken. It's hard for me to really find something to say that one guy's going to win over the other, but I'm gonna go with the Italiano on this one and stick with the biggest odds makers and pick Marvin, just because this is kind of like one of those pick 'em fights, right? You don't know who's gonna win this one, but should be an entertaining one. Could be a snooze fest. We'll see. Okay, so for the second fight of the main card for our Fight Night Wednesday, we have a match in the bantamweight division. Ricky Simon versus Ray Borg. This is going to be your classic grappler versus striker match. Vegas odds makers have this going to Simeon, which is kind of surprising to me because I believe Simeon is coming off of back-to-back losses, whereas in Borg he's got 2 back-to-back victories. So that's a little bit surprising there right off the bat. As for the tail of the tape, Ricky's going to enjoy a 2-inch height advantage. He will also be enjoying a 5-inch reach advantage over Borg. When it comes down to takedown accuracy, these guys are significantly eerily the same. Borg is sitting at 51%, where Ricky's sitting at a 49%. The one thing that did surprise me looking through the stats that ESPN has provided us is that of the two, when it comes to the striking and significant strikes, Ray Borg's got quite the difference compared to Simeon, but Simeon being the striker probably throws at a higher percentage anyways. But it's almost a 12% difference between these two individuals. Ricky's sitting at a 40%, where Ray Borg is sitting at a 52%. So that is quite the difference here, but will it translate on over into the fight? I don't think it's going to have much effect. This is going to be one of those, if Ray can look to take him to the ground, he's probably just going to hold him there and, do some minimal work. He does got a couple submissions, so he will, he's not going to be like sitting down on a takedown. He will try and push the action. He is a Jackson MMA product, right? So you know that these guys put in some good work. In fact, with his record being 13-4, he's got 1 TKO and 6 submission victories, right? So you can't take Ray Borg lightly. He is an exciting fighter, and expecting good things from him. This should be, like I says, a good scrap. But Ricky's going to be looking to keep this one standing. Obviously, he himself has got a record of 15-3. He has got 6 KOs and a 1 submission victory to his name. This gentleman, though, definitely needs to come back into the, or he needs to get back into the win column. So I'm going to be looking for Ricky for the knockout victory here in this one. All right, so this next fight that we've got on the main card is Alexander Hernandez versus Drew Dobber. This is probably the fight to watch, folks. This is going to be this is going to be an all-out war. These individuals can bang. Hernandez likes to throw. Drew Dobber himself is a fucking former kickboxer. Oddly enough, though, ESPN has got him listed as a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. Even though he's got some submission wins, right? He's got a handful of submission wins, but his KOs double that. They eclipse that for sure. Hernandez is no slouch himself. He has got a couple KO victories and a couple subs himself. Hernandez is sporting a record of 11-2. Drew Dobber is the more experienced of the two individuals, coming in at 22-9. 10 KOs, 5 submission wins. If we go to the tail of the tape, Alexander will be enjoying a 1-inch height advantage, and that translates over to him having a 2-inch reach advantage over a Dobber. As for significant strikes, these guys have pretty much the same numbers. Drew has got a 40%, where Alexander's at 41%. The takedown accuracy, though, is where there is a huge glaring weakness. Drew Dobber does not have a great success with the takedowns. He's sitting at a meager 17%. He's not even at a 25%, which is pretty rough if you're listed as a jiu-jitsu guy. So maybe the ESPN needs to look into that one a little bit. As for Hernandez, his takedown accuracy is sitting at a 30%. Like I said, I think this is going to be a hell of a match. This one is going to be contested in the lightweight division. Vegas odds has got this again super goddamn close, with the minuscule going to Drew Dobber. You're sitting at 110 for Hernandez to Drew Dobber's 120. So very close. It's really hard to pick between these two individuals, but I'm going to go with Drew for the win. I mean, he's currently riding a 2-fight win streak, and Hernandez is currently riding a 1-fight win streak. In fact, both these men, well, Drew's coming off back-to-back KOs, and Alexander's coming off of unanimous decisions. So, like I said, my money is going to be on Drew for the knockout victory. Somebody's going to sleep in this match, so make sure y'all tune in. Okay, so for our co-main event, we are going to the heavyweight division, and this one is going to be a battle of the strikers. We have got Ben Rothwell versus Eubanks SaintPierre, I believe. I'm sorry, I butcher names all the time. This is going to be a hell of a barn burner. Someone is most likely going to sleep in this one. We're going to start off with Vegas odds makers. Vegas odds makers have got this going to SaintPierre for the win here. You're sitting at minus 150 favored. As for the tail of the tape, Ben Rothwell is going to enjoy a meager 1-inch height advantage. However, this does not translate on over to the reach advantage. Reach advantage will be going to Eubanks, and that will be at a 3.5-inch reach advantage. As we go down the stats here, pretty similar stats when it comes to striking. When it comes to takedown, St. Prue's got a better takedown accuracy, sitting at a 40% compared to Ben Rothwell's 33%. However, this fight's not going to the ground, guys. I guarantee you that for sure. Both these gentlemen are supporting records very similar to one another in the last 5 fights. In fact, both men are currently sitting with 2 victories and 3 losses. Both men, however, are coming off of victories, so they'll be looking to extend that victory to 2. Ben Rothwell, in his last fight, was all the way in December, so he's fought recently in the last little bit, and he's got a KO victory versus Struff. As for Eubanks has got a submission win versus Orlovsky, I believe. Yeah, I'm so bad with these names. So bad. But yeah. That being said, this is going to be a toss 'em up fight. You know, any one of these two individuals can go to sleep. You know, other things to think about is that Rothwell is a former champion himself, right? He's never been a UFC champ, but the man has got quite the record. I mean, you can't really go to sleep on this guy. I'm surprised that the Vegas odds aren't a little bit closer. But that's where they're at, folks. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Rothwell does come out with a win. I've seen Vincent come out and kind of gas himself early on in fights, so that could tend to be a problem. But yeah, I mean, as for like experience-wise, I mean, Rothwell's got a world of experience, right? He's sitting at 40 plus fights. He's got a record of 37-12, 22 KOs, 12 submission victories. So, you know, he can take this fight wherever standing to the ground. And same with Vincent, he can take this fight standing to the ground. In fact, he's got almost as many KO wins as he's got fucking submissions. He's got a record of 24-13 with 12 KO victories and 7 submission wins. So, needless to say, this is going to be an entertaining fight. That's for sure. So the main card is shaping up to be a lot better than the prelims. I think there was only like 1 or 2 scraps in the prelims that I was excited about anyways. But that being said, this now takes us on to the main event. So for our main event, we have got a scrap in the light heavyweight division. We have got a Glover Teixeira versus Anthony Smith. Let's go and take a look at the tail of the tape here. First off, right off the bat, we see that the Vegas odds makers have this fight in favor for Anthony Smith, which is a little bit surprising to me because if I recall... Well, I guess Smith was on a little bit of a tear recently, right? You know, his only loss has been to John Jones. In fact, his last 5 fights, his only L came to John Jones. He's beaten Evans, Mauricio Shogun Hua, Alexander Gustafsson, Ozdemir. So he's beaten a list of who's who. Glover Teixeira, on the other hand, is also riding a 3-fight win streak, looking to extend that to 4-fight win streaks. In fact, in his last 5, he is sitting at 4-1 with an L coming to Corey Anderson versus a unanimous decision. So let's go and take a look at the rest of the tail of the tape here, see if we can find any other stats that they're going to differentiate between these two, and there's not really much. Both these gentlemen are close to each other in height-wise. Smith will be enjoying a 2-inch height advantage. However, that does not translate over to having a bigger reach advantage. Both these men are sitting with a 76-inch reach. And as it goes down the board here, both these guys' strikes are pretty much the same. Smith sitting at a 47%, where Teixeira sitting at a 44%. Takedown advantage, definitely going to go to Teixeira here. He's sitting at a 38% to Smith's 26%. So let's take a look at these individual records. Anthony Smith's record is definitely a... you look at it originally and you wouldn't think much of the individual. I mean, like, obviously he's sporting a very decent record, you know what I mean? But it's not like the world's greatest record, but it's the body of work that he's put in recently, in the recent years, right? That is why he is considered to be one of the top contenders in the light heavyweight division. He is currently sitting at 32-14 with 18 KO victories and 12 submissions. So this guy can take care of business on the feet and on the ground. As for Teixeira, he has got a very impressive record of 30 wins, 7 losses, 17 of those wins coming KO, 8 of those wins coming submission. So much like Anthony Smith, this is a guy that can get him done on the feet, on the ground. However, I don't expect this fight to go to the ground whatsoever. I believe this is going to be a strand. These guys are going to meet in the middle of the octagon, stand there, and start swinging for the fences. I'm looking for somebody to get knocked out here. However, I am going to go against Vegas odds makers here, and I'm going to pick Teixeira. There's just something about my gut feeling on this one. We're gonna call it a gut feeling. Nothing else other than just that, you know. Been a while though since Teixeira has fought, all the way back in September, and it's even been longer since we've seen Smith fight, and his last fight came in June. So yeah, there's that to think about. Anyways, as always, thank you so much for joining me for another episode here. Thank y'all so much for taking some time out and chilling with me. As always, I will be leaving a link on how y'all can follow me on my Twitter page and stay up to date. Peace. Much love. Thank you.